So here we go. I'm going to run a 20-minute 5K whilst also talking to you about how to run a 20-minute 5K, how it should feel, what you should be focusing on during the run itself, and ultimately how to get the best out of yourself if you're trying to run a 5K BB, no matter how fast that is. So stick with me. This seemed like a great idea at the time. I'm already out of breath. Let's go. So I'm already looking at my watch, and one of the key things is don't go off too fast. These first few 100 meters, it's vital that you get off quickly enough to get into your rhythm, but then you just settle into that pace. You shouldn't be pushing hard in these first few minutes. It's a big mistake that a lot of people make, is getting straight up to their red line in this first kilometer, when actually they need to dial it back, settle into a pace and just be confident that it's going to be enough, even though hopefully it doesn't feel too tough in these first couple of minutes. This early part is just all about rhythm and relaxation. So in this first kilometer, just think about your breathing and your shoulders. So relaxing your shoulders, keeping your breathing nice and low down in your chest, not panic breathing up here because you're worried about the effort and how hard it feels. Just settle into that rhythm, take your legs over. Don't think about too much other than relaxation and focusing in on your breathing. A little bit like mindfulness. Every time your mind gets distracted, bring it back to your breathing and your footsteps, nice and relaxed. I'm already a little bit worried. I've bitten off more than I can chew. Every time I talk to you, my heart rate spikes. I actually subconsciously pick the pace up a little bit and get more and more out of breath. Okay, so that's 1K done. And bear in mind, I've been thinking about my pace. 4 minutes per kilometer, 6:26 per mile is bang on 20 minutes. That was 3:36. So I've actually gone way too quick. And this is your prompt now into the second kilometer to double down on that relaxation. Yeah, okay, maybe you've gone a bit too fast, a bit too slow. Don't panic, stay relaxed, and now start bringing in those form cues. So by that I mean, we've already talked about shoulders, keeping your breathing nice and relaxed. But in addition to that, now's the time to be thinking about your cadence. It's a nice turnover, foot contact, nice and active and even directly underneath your hips, keeping your whole body nice and tall, which automatically keeps your hips up and forwards, doesn't allow you to sink down into that tired position. Just keep thinking about that, keeping your hips, feet tall. 3 really clear cues for you. And I've done the cardinal sin of banking time in that first kilometer. Should now settle back a little bit. But also bear in mind for me, apart from the fact that I'm talking, this 20-minute 5K should be within my reach. So I've got a little bit of headroom to push faster. But the key, if you're running your fastest ever 5K, and this is why you're watching this, is you don't want to be on your red line early. You want to give yourself a chance later in the run, once you get to that 3rd and 4th kilometer, to dig deep. Right now, keep bringing your thoughts back to breathing, footsteps, knee lift, hips, nice and tall. Quick heart rate check. I'm at 147, which is zone 3 to 4 for me, probably middle to top of zone 3, so I should feel pretty comfortable. But one, I would say probably don't look at your heart rate when you're going for an all-out effort. Ultimately, you want to have a good enough gauge of your pace from your training to not do it by heart rate, particularly because my heart rate is going to keep climbing now. So it's already into the 150s since I've started talking, and it's going to keep climbing throughout the whole effort, particularly in the first 2K. It won't have had a chance to get up to your effort. It takes your body a while to get up to that kind of maximum operating potential. So don't panic about it too much. Okay, 2nd kilometer, back on track, just inside 350. So that's the kind of level I want to try and maintain now. And I need to be aware, now that we're in this 3rd kilometer, this is the business end. It starts to feel harder and you have to push your rate of perceived exertion. So maybe that's like how hard you're working out of 10. You have to push that up just to maintain the same pace. But also don't panic. It's normal for it to feel hard. And to run a good 5K, it's going to be hard from this point in now. If it's not feeling hard, then that's great. Probably means you've got a little bit of headroom and can just start to squeeze a little bit and push. Now, as we're approaching halfway, it's a good idea to just go through that form check again. So, as your breathing starts to get a little bit more laboured, it's even more important to relax your shoulders and stay nice and tall to get enough air in so you don't put yourself in trouble. Don't want to get all panicked with your breathing. Relax your arm carriage and relax your hands. Really tight fists, tension in your fists, tension in your arms, tension in your body will be a negative overall. Okay, that's halfway, inside 9:30. As we know, I banked a bit of too much time in that first K. So I've got some headroom here. But I'm trying to show you what you should be thinking about and how it should feel. So I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm not gonna let it slip to try and take advantage of that bank time. Just gonna end up going a little bit faster, I think. Desperate for some company. I want one of these runners to join in with me. Take some of the work, do some pacemaking. Up until this point, you should have been bringing your mind's focus back to your immediate surroundings, how your body's feeling, your breathing, the next step, the next 100 meters, the next kilometer. But now we're approaching the 4th kilometer, which is the single most important part of the race. So be paying attention, because this is where you lose it ultimately. If you want to run a personal best time, regardless of what that is for you, then this 4th kilometer will make or break it. Stay focused, he says, chatting away. Okay, kilometer check. Again, kilometer number 3, just inside 350. So 12 minutes will be bang on 20-minute pace, and I'm somewhere between 11:10 and 11:20. It's already ticked over. So still going strong. But now, 4th kilometer, less than 8 minutes to go for me today. Opportunity is the word. This should be your mantra. When it gets hard, obviously you have the choice, you could just stop. But I worked really hard on the sports psychology side of things, where when it gets hard, that's your opportunity. It's not gonna be easy to run faster than you've ever run before. So you have to switch it in your mind to being, I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna hurt myself and dig deep now, to this is my opportunity. If I go for this now, right now, these next 2 minutes are where I get my PB. You're going to get more tired, and you're going to need to check in on your form and not spend longer on the ground with those ground contact times. You want to keep light steps. The floor is lava. You want to keep that contact underneath your hips. Don't, as you get tired, don't reach out in front of you to try and claw at the ground. Trust your cadence. You can hear it in my breathing now. I'm into the 160s in my heart rate. So like I said, my heart rate's kept climbing. Talking definitely doesn't help. But it's normal for it to keep feeling harder, for that kind of fatigue to accumulate during the run. And now, as we're more than halfway through the 4th kilometer, this is the point where you go back and you visualize all of the training that you've done. You know what the pace feels like. And if you've done it right, you should have done some training at race pace on tired legs. So you know what this feels like, and you know that you can still stay nice and tall. I know we're switching between miles and kilometers, but well inside the last mile now. Got about 1,200 meters to go. So for me, with my track background, 3 laps of the track, I know what that means, and I know how hard I can push. And that's what you learn in training. So approaching 170 now, heart rate still climbing, totally normal. Okay, 3:48 and 15 minutes more or less. So I've carried that momentum that I kept going through the first 3 kilometers into that 4th kilometer by just pushing harder. 1 kilometer to go is too far to sprint. You shouldn't even be thinking about that. What you should be thinking about is just squeezing your effort up a few percent to either maintain, or maybe if you're feeling strong like I am today, you're just going to lift the pace slightly, but not a sprint. A controlled increase in pace. You can only really learn it in training, but right now I feel like I've got some extra to give, but I also know I've got 2.5, 3 minutes to go, and I'm not sure that I can push much harder than this for that whole time. So I'm going to chunk it. I'm going to break this last K down into 200 meter sections, and then probably just stop looking at my watch altogether. But this is the point at which you need to know where your red line is, and you need to try and find it. So many people, when they're trying to run their best 5K, they think they've gone all out, but actually they haven't, because they've never really gone to their max. So that's the aim here. Inside this last 400 or 500 meters, if you want to be at your red line, don't leave it on the road. Put it all in and see what you can get out. So I'm just going to squeeze again now. 400 meters to go nearly. Try not to overstride. Staying nice and tall. I can use my arms to generate the new pace rather than forcing my legs and my ankles to do it. That's 300 to go. I'm still not all out. I'm inside that last lap on the track, but I'm saving a little bit. That's my track head. I've always got to be able to outsprint anyone who comes. Okay, 150 meters to go. A little bit of pep talk, support from the crowds. And bear in mind, if you're running a 5K, most of you don't have to do it on your own. So coming up to the end here, next after this, what you need to do is go and check out Sarah's video where she ran a 25-minute. Keep going, Sarah. Can't get the team. We've nearly finished. Okay, that's 5K. Done. We'll put the times up on the screen. 18:36 on my watch. So a little bit quicker than intentional. But what I was saying, if you want to see someone run a 25-minute 5K without badgering you about how to run it in beautiful silence, ASMR style, then you need to check this video out here for Sarah, and let us know what other videos you'd like to see us make in the comments.